Hello and welcome back to our renovation project in central Portugal. This second special episode is the story of the outside kitchen and utility room. We follow the transformation of a pile of undergrowth into a robust and functional area. This allows us to live comfortably so that the main construction work, when it starts, can operate around us. We're going to take you from the very beginning in November 2023 to the present day. It's been a truly memorable year. We've learnt so much, worked in all kinds of conditions, and figured out how we turn this gorgeous place into our dream home. We can only be in Portugal for a limited time each year, so we've crammed in as much as possible. You'll see many parallel projects overlapping, so please forgive any time shifting as we try and put some structure around the story. In the early days, we were sleeping off-site, so we had to improvise places to sit and boil a kettle. We could see there was a building of some kind hidden opposite the main house. There were walls somewhere in that thicket, but it was pretty tricky to tell what they were. And we had other priorities that were higher up the list to begin with. The first glimpses showed what looked like a small storeroom, with possibly some animal enclosures along the side. There was just so much ivy and brambles that needed to be cleared. I have to say that my green gauntlet gardening gloves were an absolute godsend. As we cleared away the foliage, it became clear that the floor was an even tougher job. There was a thick mat of ivy roots mixed in with broken tiles and timbers from where the previous roof had collapsed. This, along with all sorts of soil and other debris, had to be sorted out and removed. I was a bit nervous to see what might be lurking inside the storeroom, but thankfully, apart from a lot of spiders and webs, there was nothing with legs, just a whole lot more ivy and some old shelving.
An awful lot's been cleared. Jane's been at it, getting more stuff out of the way for the entrance to the outdoor kitchen.
Once we could finally see the space, we then had to plan where everything could fit. We had modern civilization. Clean clothes and cold food. What more can we want?
And bringing in 270 watts of solar input, burning 100. That might well stay over all night and still be there in the morning.
We quickly decided that the solar system would live in the utility room, with appliances either inside there or close by. So the next step was to make the room secure and weatherproof.
So this is the roof of the utility room, and one of my next jobs is to remove that and replace it with something a little more weather tight and long lasting. Right, now we can see what's going on. So these are the steel panels that were all crumpled up on top of the roof, and when they're laid out flat like this, they look like they might serve a good purpose, possibly even go back on the roof as a recycled covering.
While Phil's busy up a ladder, a major piece of infrastructure has just been delivered. These boxes contain a Bluetti solar system that will provide power for all our appliances.
First piece of the jigsaw is the bluetti, and that's going to go into the utility room. Then alongside that, a fridge, leaving space for the countertops on the right hand side. The fridge is plugged into the bluetti for the moment on an extension cable, but with the backboard in place, that's ready now for the electrician to fit a fuse box and some power sockets, for which I have to cut down some incredibly long timbers to make a temporary upstand. You can see the white markings on the wall there. That's just to give our fabulous electrician Luis a guide into where to put this stuff. Also needs some weather protection. The first plastic cover didn't quite stand the showers. Plan B on the utility room. So slung a sheet of OSB and the black plastic sheet over the top of that, held down. So that will give a bit more protection of any further rain. It's not forecast for much for the rest of the day, so hopefully the worst is done. But if we go down inside, everything intact. And this is the electric trunking and sockets with waterproof outlets for the situations just like these, ready to receive the worktop. Cooking tonight in the impromptu camp kitchen. It's not the main one. The main one will go in there when I've finished building it. Jane's now bringing condiments and stuff. But again, hose pipe for water because the tap's not quite in yet. Camping gas stove, 2-burner, washing up bowl, and a range of stuff. But I think we're in pretty good shape. We have the fridge and the bluetti, kitchen at the Quinta. This is the start of the countertop, which I'm making out of some thick pine boards. They're a bit rough on the surface, so I've got to sand them down to get them useful. Screwed and glued together, and with an oiled surface, should be good for many years to come. And flexible in case I change my mind and come up with another arrangement for the kitchen, or add something to it in the future. Question you're absolutely right to ask. We have 56. The fridge, including the allowance for opening, is 52. So the fridge will fit. Yay! There you go. Yeah.
And I can reach.
You can reach.
Yeah.
Yay! Oh, cheers. Yeah. In this sort of weather, shade in the kitchen is really important, so we brought some sailcloth with us from the UK and put up an awning. Little did we know it was going to be tested in so many ways. The fabric's pretty lightweight, and to give it a chance of running some water off should it rain, we mounted it on an angle with some posts to give it a bit of height at the front. As you can see, the awning didn't survive. Great idea at the time, worked well for a day, but when you got some serious rain last night, I'm afraid it didn't stand the test. So cue the experimental development with different lengths of posts, different angles, different guy lines, all sorts of things. And the awning seems to be doing quite well this time round. Tight enough to keep the water from forming the balloons and getting all caught up. Drains away nicely. Worktop's dry. I can open up the stove and get some coffee on. Lovely. Another early morning start. Beautiful day today, around about 7:30 in the morning, and I'm already out. Today I'm going to go and put the second wall plate on. That's the first one that went on yesterday. Bit of a mess, learned a lot in the process, but let's see if we can do better today. Got that bedded onto the cement all along that side. Looking across, today we've got to do this side. I've done a check. Fortunately, the beams will drop ever so slightly from right to left as we're looking at them, which is great because it means then the rain will drain that way. That's good. Jane's done a fantastic job of clearing out the old timbers and shelving that were in here. So before I get the roof on, this is the utility room interior before it gets enclosed. But massive tidy up. Now the bluetti still a little bit higher up off the ground, and possibly even got room for a little bit of a sort of charging table or something to go down there. That would organise things a lot better. Feeds up into the fuse box up there from one of the circuits, and stepping back a little, power there for the washing machine, which will go sort of here-ish, and ideally the hot water boiler, which will go somewhere on the wall up here. And from there we will have all sorts of good utilities and services just next to our outdoor kitchen. What a great design. Something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bend it across the 5th hole. Then so I've set those out now along the wall. You can see they dangle down at a pretty good vertical angle. So next job is to drill those into the wall, screw them down from the top, and then that braces that wall plate timber into the wall, and I can put the rafters across. So those are the joint boards, the joint rafters. I should carry on with those, then put the intermediates in after. That will take us probably well into the hotter part of the day. It's already 11 o'clock and we're up towards 30 now. Don't want to go too far in these conditions, so if I can get the rafters all across, that'll suit me now. Bit of a break. We'll come back much later in the afternoon for the rest. That's all good. Neatly held in by the
These sort of
wall straps.
Little straps.
So it's about, for a fairly flaky construction building, it's about as good as I'm going to get it. So now let's put some OSB on the top.
Ooh, roof.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Because I'm the one who's not very good above my head.
Balance it on your head, that's all right.
Okay, let me get up. So now this is the view from above. Continuous stream of OSB. Overlapping the utility room below. First time in who knows how long that room has had a complete cover on it. So that's all the infill pieces now laid in, courtesy of the old doors off the Adega over there. So that's where they came from, and that is all that's left. Lesson learned, shorter length. On the subject of running water, maybe I ought to have some inside the kitchen. That's in there like that, good.
The bit's tight. Yeah, that's tightened.
Right, now drop it back down through again.
Down through the hole.
So just hold it steady then.
Okay.
Happy days, good.
We have a tap. Woo!
Well, yeah, we've got to connect it to some pipes yet.
We have a tap. We have a tap, stage one.
The worktop has a tap. The tap has no water. But we will get to that bit in a moment. That's okay. That's all okay there.
So the pipe there.
Ready?
There, hang on a minute. And we're up on top again. Ready, steady. And we have running water.
So that's the cold water. What about the hot? Well, we bought a very basic, but apparently very simple, water heater. So it's relatively self-contained, should be quite simple, self-install. Let's have a go. There we go. Yeah, very nice. Except the instruction manual was completely incomprehensible, so the wonderful Luis came back and fitted it for us. Okay, that's good. That's good. And missing the front. Excellent. So there. There. to there.
Is that close enough?
That's about it.
It may not be momentous to you, but it certainly is to me. The first load of washing in the washing machine has finished cleaning. Yay!
One of the problems we've got, it's just the way the landscape works, is that there's a slope from the bottom of the pigsty, the top of the pigsty there, down towards the utility, but also down and away from where I'm standing. So there's a sort of gentle diagonal all the way down there. It makes a lot of sense if I can do something to level out this floor before we start building up from it. And I got the pry bar the other day, and you can see the cracks in the concrete slab. The concrete slab is pretty thin. It comes up like heavy duty cardboard. So I'm hoping to be able to get underneath there. There'll be a step roughly where that piece of timber is. So we'll have an upper level and then step down to a lower level at the right height for the kitchen worktop. And the kitchen worktop height is set by the power sockets, which were designed in with the kitchen worktop at a certain height. So it's back to digging. So that's our datum point. There's a mound in the middle here. That corner's pretty okay. Bit of a rise up to this corner. That corner's pretty okay. So it's basically this lump in the middle needs to come out. Remember, we've had to replace the original awning, which blew down. It had done a long service and was really good, but it had decayed in the UV, and the last rains we had a couple of nights ago, it just sort of gave up the ghost. So put a tarpaulin up there. Very effective. Not as nice as the pale thing. It's darker inside here, so hence getting the roof up in the next few days will be a really nice thing to do. But coming down, I've dug out, Jane's dug out rather, more specifically, to go level on the floor underneath the kitchen worktop. So we've set one corner of the worktop as a datum. So this one is where that block, so that block is going to be the height of the gravel. So there's going to be a geotextile, weed barrier underneath, then some gravel on top to the height of that block. Then on that block and others matched around the corners, we're going to mount a deck frame and then a deck on top, so that once all of that's together, that worktop will be at 90 centimeters regulation height. Happy days. I've made up some shuttering, so we have the post bases. They need to sit on a concrete pad inside the shuttering. Shuttering's been made up, just got to dig. I've dug down a hole and I've got to just dig out around the edge of it so that the shuttering can go in, and the top of the shuttering will be level with the top of the pads.
Oops, I haven't put the ramp in place for you. You hear about burying people in foundations for luck, don't you? So is that all the gravel? Yeah, or is that all the gravel gone, or is it? There's still loads? Oh my word. Oh, poor Jeff, you're doing a sterling job there.
We're not going to use all the gravel?
No. Oh, good. And the last barrow. So, with help from our lovely hard-working friends Jeff and Leslie, we had a flat and level kitchen subfloor. It's still a bit lower than the planned end result, but that's okay, especially as it means Phil has to make coffee, as I can't quite reach. And after lots of delays and a multitude of temporary solutions, we were finally ready to fit the ultimate roof.
We're inside the side.
Shall I go down? We're in.
Straight-ish, yeah, now. Lift. That's easy, isn't it?
Yeah, just
That one goes all the way down easy. Yeah.
You're on.
Do that again.
Let's try it again.
The next part is a temporary fix. The suppliers had only got 2 of the metal footplates, so we'd have to wait for a while. That meant the 2 at the back by the wall couldn't be fitted straight away, so a temporary beam had to go in and put some rafters across it, again as a temporary measure, so we could get something over there whilst we were away. This was the end of one of our trips, and so we had to make it secure before we went, knowing that we would have to do something and rebuild it when we got back. Bingo.
Sorted?
Yep.
Okay, so we didn't quite get the Onduline on, but what we did do is get the OSB on. And does it look fabulous? Oh!
Should have done this weeks ago.
Yeah, in the pouring rain, I think not. But what a good day's work. Well done.
We were coming towards the end of the trip, so that meant we had to put the temporary roof into as good a waterproof structure as we could, a bit of Onduline, some tarpaulin, and just wait for the stuff to arrive, and then we could get back to where we were and begin the process of dismantling what we've built and putting it back into the way it should be. That's 2 out, ready?
Yep.
Didn't expect how good an effect this was going to have with bringing that level down. So Jane's suggestion, taking it a little further off to the right, and it means you've just got this fantastic panoramic view now. There we go. Just double checking the visuals. Does that look parallel with the roof behind it? I think that's pretty good for now. You may be wondering why we're putting so much thought and effort and time into this structure, because, you know, again, a lot of what we've said is all about being temporary. This part of the place is actually going to be retained for quite a bit longer. This courtyard is going to be where, when the house is built, we're still going to have a garden and a social area entertaining friends. So having a kitchen with shade and weather protection, a barbecue just over there, this is actually going to stay for a lot longer, and so it's worth putting the time and effort into it now for this to be a retained part. The rest of it gets knocked down or rebuilt or in some way quite heavily dealt with, but this bit hopefully will stay for the duration and be with us for a lot longer to come. Anyway, conditions good. It's a nice sunny morning, so it's still a bit fresh, but time to crack on. With the basic frame in place, I added some angle braces for rigidity and got started on the rafters. There were a few calculation errors in the process, but I'll skip over those for now. If you want to see me suffer, then by all means go back a few weeks, have fun. So that's a late finish. First time we've actually had to finish in the darkness with the pathway solar lamps on, which is unusual. Anyway, but they're all up, they're all on, and
very good it does look too.
I'm quite pleased with that. I really...
Quite pleased. I'm well chuffed.
Yeah, well, you know, it's been a long time in coming, hasn't it?
Yep. Woo!
See you later. So that's a wrap for today. That is the conclusion of what feels like months and months and months of work. Actually it was, but that was mostly putting it up and taking it down again and putting it up again. But that is the outdoor kitchen roof.
We'll close by showing you the opening sequence from the other angle. From the early discovery phase, through preparation and improvisation, dealing with all sorts of conditions and a few setbacks, and a few build and rebuild experiments. What we've ended up with is a dry and reasonably well equipped outdoor kitchen and utility, ready for a new year of adventure. Thanks to you all for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing or perhaps dipping into one of the topics in more detail. And we'll hope to see you back at the same time next week. Bye for now.